Super excited to show you guys how we're going to make our donuts today. So first things first, I just want to make sure everybody has all their ingredients, everything they need. So right now I have my stand mixer. Of course, you could use a hand mixer or mix by hand. Just make sure you don't overmix. I have our molds and I pre-greased them. Now you can use anything you have on hand, but if you really want to make healthier options, coconut oil is what I use. It's a really great substitute for Pam spray. You could also use vegan butter or regular butter at the moment, or margarine. Those are some good options to use. I also make sure that we have our 1 ounce of oil, our 4 ounces of water, and I also make sure we have our moist mix all opened up and ready, and then our flour baking mix. So those are the things we're gonna need to start our donuts today. So it's super easy, super simple. I'm so excited to show you guys. So first we're gonna take both of our mixes and we're gonna put them in the bowl, and make sure you have your oven preheated to 350 degrees. Make sure you guys have that all set up so that way when we're done, we can just put our donuts straight in the oven and get over to our great new speakers. So I'm just gonna put both of my powders in my stand mixer. Awesome. And then I'm gonna add the water. I made sure it's cold. And then our oil. I'm just gonna give it a really good mix. Like I said, I'm making sure I don't mix too much or too high. All right, awesome. So I got that all nice and mixed up, so I'm super happy about that. Okay, so what you can do is you can spoon, but I really just prefer to use a piping bag. I just think it's a lot easier, and plus since our batter is a little loose, I find it's just so much easier to pipe in. So what I did was I took my piping bag and I made sure to cut a little tip at the bottom, and I put it over a cup because it's just so much easier to scoop in and it makes so much less of a mess. Now, like I said, of course you can use spoons, but I just prefer a piping bag. It's a lot cleaner, a lot simpler, and yeah, it helps prevent a nice mess so we can keep our kitchen nice and clean. So I'm just gonna grab a spatula. Here we are, and I'm just gonna scrape down my bowl just to make sure everything is nice and incorporated. I do like to give it one quick last blitz just to make sure everything that was on the bottom is all incorporated. Just a quick one too. And you can also see how the batter really starts to thicken up once you start mixing it, so that's how you know it's good and ready. And I will show you guys what I mean. So when you guys first started it, you could see it was liquidy, but now you guys can see that it's more of a paste. And I'm just gonna put that in my piping bag. I'm gonna show you how to spoon, but also use a piping bag. So I'm just filling up my piping bag. And then I'll show you guys how to do it with the spoon. So I'm just gonna take my bowl off my mixer, and I have 2 spoons. You wanna fill it 2/3 of the way. So I have my pre-greased pans all ready to go. I'm just gonna spoon it with the big spoon, and then just push it into the mold with my little spoon. I'm just gonna kind of wrap it around until I get it 2/3 of the way full. Super easy, and the batter doesn't stick to the spoon, so it makes this transfer so much easier. There we go. All right, perfect. And I'll bring it closer to the camera so you guys can see it. So as you guys can see, I have it 2/3 of the way full, which is perfect. Then I'll show you guys how to do a piping bag. So I just have my piping bag with the batter. I cut a relatively small hole, nothing too crazy. And then I'm just gonna apply pressure and squeeze until I get 2/3 of the way. And I'm just gonna do that for each and every one. Like I said, if you're using the spooning method, that works great as well. Like I said, this is just way less mess, super easy. Awesome. And then I still have a little left over, so I'm going to use my spooning technique. And I just love how there's a perfect amount. I'm telling you guys, these are so delicious. It's so great to have a lot of healthy options. And I'm just really excited for the speakers to come in as well. Because with baking, I feel like a lot of people think there aren't really good substitutes out there to kind of just replace sugar. I know the thought of like not having sugar can be a little scary, especially when we've all been very conditioned to just a lot of like processed fats, plain sugars, but there's really amazing options out there, and I really prefer coconut oil and coconut products like coconut cream. Those have worked absolute wonders for me in my health, and it's something that we only use a lot in culinary school as well as in a lot of restaurants. If you tend to ask, it's becoming a really big thing now. So it's really cool to just be able to enjoy what you love while still being healthy about it. Okay, so all my batter is out. I'm just gonna give my tray a little tap just to make sure my batter is smoothed out, right? And then I'm gonna place it in the oven for 15 minutes, but make sure to check on it periodically. And I have my timer all set up, so you can go ahead, clean up your mixing bowls, things like that. The timer's about to go off for the donuts. So I'm about to take those out of the oven right now because it's about to go off in 10 seconds. They're looking great. They puffed up a lot. That's how they should look, very fluffy. So I'm super excited, and I'm out right now. So I took them out. As you guys can see, they look great. They puffed up a lot. It looks awesome. And I'm gonna let them cool down. I don't want to take them out of the molds yet because they do have a chance of cracking if you do it too hot. So I'm gonna keep it on my granite countertop just because it goes and it keeps it nice and cool. And we don't have to go ahead with our frosting just yet while they're cooling down, or we can and you could just leave it on the side. But I think this would be a great time to talk about all the great substitutions that there are, things like that. So if somebody has a question while they're cooling down before I pop them, that would be a great time to ask. And then we can move on to the frosting. And I also make sure to have just like our sprinkles out. If you guys do want to decorate with something more than sprinkles that you have, you're more than welcome to. I recommend freeze-dried fruits. I really think they're honestly amazing to add to anything, and especially like dry powders, anything that you could find at your Whole Foods. It's always there, Trader Joe's. They have so many amazing, amazing options. So it's really whatever you like and what you prefer. Now we can get back to our donuts. So now that they're cool, I'm just putting on a speaker rack to show you guys how to unmold them. So you could flip them over on a tray, or what I like to do is put it in the palm of your hand, kind of just wiggle it out, pops right out. So that's one way. And then I'll show you the other method where you just take it, flip it over, shimmy it out, and it pops out that way too. So it's really whatever method you like. I just kind of like holding it in my hand, and they should pop out super easy. And like I said, I use coconut oil, and it just really helped to just get it out. Like I said, of course, there's other great options, but coconut oil is great, especially if you are trying to go vegan. All right, so now that we have all our donuts, we can get straight to our frosting. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your cold water, 2 tablespoons, and then you're going to get 1 tablespoon of oil. You're going to put that in with our frosting flavor packet. And I'm just putting that in my mixer. Of course, like I said, you guys can whisk it by hand, use a hand mixer. It's truly whatever you have. So I'm just going to give that a nice whisk. And then I'm just going to make sure I'm scraping down the sides. And can we talk about this beautiful color as well? That's another thing I like about just using really great different vegan ingredients, because they can also give you beautiful colors for your products as well. Like you can even use them as colorings. Like for me, what I like to do when I'm doing something that's vegan, I like to go and take fruit powders, and that can actually go and give you a really nice color. And of course, I'm sure some of you have heard of this, maybe not, but you can also use beets to make your cake work velvet, beet juice. So that's a really great option as well. So now that we have our frosting, I'm just gonna put it in a little container because I'm gonna dip, but I'm also gonna show you guys how you could do it with a spoon. I just think dipping is a lot easier, and I feel like it gives a cleaner finish, but it's really up to you on how you want to decorate your donuts. And like I said, you guys, we have sprinkles here, but you can always use different things. Nuts are really a great option. Like I said, you could use different types of freeze-dried berries. I like to use a lot of different things. I'm just scraping my bowl to make sure I get out as much as possible. Okay, so I'm going to show you the dipping method first. So I'm just going to go take my donut, make sure I have it nice and secure, and I'm just going to dip it lightly. And then I'm just going to get it out. A little drip, and then perfect. That's perfect. And then I'm going to show you guys the spoon method. So I'm just going to take a big spoon here, and you can just go and you can just drip it on. Like I said, either way works for how you want to decorate it. I just prefer the dipping method. I also have like a paper towel down, you guys can see right there, just so I make sure I'm not making any type of a mess. And then this icing doesn't dry very quickly, so you don't have to be rushing to get your sprinkles on. You can just take your time. Like I said, I just love the dip method. I feel like it's such like the classic donut look, and I just feel like it gives a really nice finish. So I'm just gonna dip those. And like I said, this color on these donuts are beautiful. And then I just kind of clean the sides. You don't have to. And then I have a little bit extra, so I'm just going to spoon on. I do have a little extra icing. I'm just going to spoon it on any of the spots I may have missed. Of course, if you still have that leftover batter and you do want to save this icing, again, Ziploc containers work great. Same with a piping bag. You could do this way, a piping bag, if you wanted. You really want it to be more technical with it, but the spoon does the trick just as good. Alright, awesome. And then I'm going to clean off my hands a little bit with my towel because it can get a little messy with the dipping method as well. And then you can take your sprinkles right here, and we're just going to sprinkle it on. You don't have to be super technical with it. You can go crazy, as many sprinkles as you want. And there's actually, if you guys are looking for some great vegan sprinkle companies, there's actually a lot now. I've been seeing a lot of just places switching over for people that make custom sprinkles. You know, there's places like Fancy Sprinkles, for example, that have a lot of great vegan sprinkle mixes if you guys are looking into anything. There's Neon Yolk, to name a few. It's a lot of small businesses that are actually switching over to vegan sprinkles, which I think is great because you get to support a small business all while being even healthier. So there we go. I'm just kind of using up the last of my sprinkles here. Because still treat, add a little bit more sprinkles for ourselves. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys one of the donuts. As you guys can see, it's super easy, super simple, and it's super fun to make, and it's super good for you. And I just think this is also a great activity you could do with your kids. Honestly, if you have kids and you want to get them into a healthier lifestyle, this is truly a great option, and it's something that kids would like, because I feel like when kids are able to be interactive with what they're doing, it really is more enjoyable for them, and it can also be more enjoyable for you. So those are how we make our donuts, guys. They're so cute, so simple. I love them.